Guys, so we got 3 HobbyWing QuicRun Fusion 40 amp 1800 kV brushless motor, 2-in-1. So that brushless system here, guys, it is very simple to deal with. Let me pop one open. We're gonna put one of those inside the RedCat V2. So this system here, you don't have any ESC hanging out of it. The ESC is built in. So really neat system. Behind here, this is your program card to program the ESC. We got some HobbyWing stickers. We got your manual here. And let's get this Fusion out. So this is your HobbyWing Fusion. The ESC is built in at the back here. All you got to do is put in your receiver, your battery, and this is it. And right here is where your program card gonna come. So you take one of these plugs right here, push it in here like so, and then here you got your plug to push in. It's got this extra piece right here, and it's got 9 function that you can play with here. Your drag brakes, turn up the voltage for your servo. You can go from 6 volt to 7.4 volt. Come with zip tie, double-sided tape. So now we're gonna put this one inside of the RedCat Gen8 V2. So here, guys, we're just gonna cut this plug off of this ESC and we're gonna solder it up. So we snip it right there, just like that. We're gonna snip this one right here, just like that, because our batteries don't have this plug, so we're making a changeover. So very simple to do, red on red, black on black. And we're just gonna strip the wire, take off the coating. Then we're going to put 2 pieces of shrink wrap over it. So now we're going to put some solder on the end of the wire. Okay, so we're going to do it on the both sides of the wires. Alright, so we complete this soldering. All we gotta do right now is pull the shrink wrap over and just put some heat on it, and it's gonna pull itself together. Alright, that's it. Alright guys, so we're gonna remove the system. First thing first, we're gonna remove the shocks right here. We're using the 2.0 to remove it. So when you remove the shocks, there is this 2 screw right here holding this piece of bracket right here, because we're going to have to remove that to get it off smoothly. So take off these 2 screws. All right, so the 2 screws are loose. Just pull them out like so. Now we're going to do it on the other side. Let's remove the shocks. Shocks is off. Gonna loose those. Okay, so now we can remove this piece of bracket right here, and back here this little screw is kind of covering the motor and the pinion gear right there. But we got a couple screws that we got to loose here. Got 3 screws basically to move. 2 at the bottom, 1 on top. All right, let's get that out. Okay, that's it. So here we're using a 1.5 to remove that little screw at the back here. So the little screw is off, and now we can remove the cover and the motor can easily come off. So now this is off. I'm going to use the same pinion gear and put on the QuicRun Fusion. So now let's take off these 2 screws, and we have to remove the pinion gear. Pinion gear is pretty tight in there. There we go, it's out, and we can remove the piece of bracket. Now we're gonna take off the ESC. It's double-sided tape, so we're just gonna pry it off. There we go, the ESC is off, and we just have to pull the ESC wire out here, and now the system is out. Okay, so let's get in the QuicRun Fusion. So let's get the bracket in. So get those 2 little screws back in place. So this is your adjustment, so you can move it back and forth to make sure you sit down properly. All right, so now let's put the pinion gear on. Remember, always put it on the flat side on the motor. Okay, so now let's line them up. Now the Fusion is very close here, guys. Take up all the space. And now we can put the screws from underneath and screw it back up. All right, 3 screws is holding up this motor. Gonna put back one from the bottom here. Okay, we get one inside. Okay, there's 2 screws. Now let's get in the top screw. Alright, so all 3 screws is back on the motor. Now the pinion gear is not touching this plug here between here. So we have to adjust it. And this is what this adjustment is for this screw. So we loosen the screw. And now we can push the motor down. I'm gonna loose this one here a bit. So now, there we go. This part is sitting on the pinion gear now. So right there. So I'm gonna tighten back this one right here. And we don't want it too tight to make noise. So right there. I'm gonna try it right there and see. When we put power in the motor, we can hear how it sounds. So the pinion gear and the spur gear is basically lined up straight now. So I can tighten it. Alright, so everything looking straight. They're running pretty centered on each other. So now we're gonna open up the receiver box. It's got 2 screws holding down on either side. Okay, so the receiver box is out and we can remove the receiver because we're not going to be using this receiver anymore. So this one here, just remember here, you take it out, guys. So this one is for the servo and this is for the ESC. So now we're using the FlySky receiver. What we got to do is push this wire through here like that, and we're gonna put the servo on 1, the ESC on 2, and we have the bind button. How this box is set up, this is your receiver here. Remember, it is 2-in-1, and all you gotta do is push this here, just like that. Okay, so let's put some power, and we're gonna bind it up and make sure it works. So now we're gonna plug on the battery. Okay, battery is on. We're using the FS-GT5 from FlySky. So we turn it on and here you can hit like so, and you can change the different channels when you hit this buttons right here. So there we go. We're gonna put this one on 6 and we hit 6 like that. So now we're gonna bind the receiver with the FlySky controller so the motor can work. So what we do, we turn the power on. There you go. We got flashing red light. So what you got to do right now is hold on the bind button on the controller and turn it on. There you go, we bind. So let's check it out. Yep, let's give it a little juice. It's working. So simple like that, guys. And now you just remove the bind plug, just like so. So now we can put the receiver in the box. So there's 2 little screws. It's holding on the box. Okay, that's it. All right, so now what we're going to do is get these wires and them in place. All right, we're just going to put a zip tie right here to hold the wire in place so you don't go bouncing around and get squeezed on anything. All right, that would do right there. Snip that off. And we can also put the power button on top here. Everything can be on one side. I think what I'm going to do is put a little bit of Gorilla Glue to hold it up. So let's give it some throttle in here. All right, pretty quick. So now we can turn this off. Load this battery, so we're good to go. Keep the wires on one side. All right, so now we can put the cover up and cover up this motor. So this is the cover to cover up the motor right here. This is a little screw to get this motor cover back there. So I'm just going to double check the pinion gear, give it a little bit of tighten. That's it. Double check this motor here again on the screws, give them a little bit of tighten. There we go. And now we can put this cover over to cover the pinion gear and the spur gear. All right, so let's tighten up this motor cover. Okay, everything is in place there now, nice and snug. So here we can put on the brace, and remember it's 2 screws on either side. All right, let's put the screws on the other side. So I think it's a pretty easy upgrade, guys. And the HobbyWing Fusion is a really easy motor to deal with. You don't have to do any set of soldering and worry about all this ESC and stuff, you know. So the ESC is already built in, so you're good to go. And I'm not gonna change any adjustment. I'm just gonna leave everything the way it is. Just off the box, just the way it comes with the original setting, with the factory settings. All right, so now we get that back. So our journey right here now is to put back the shocks. And that is pretty easy to do, but I'm going to make a little change here. Now the shocks come out in the middle right here. I'm going to put it on the back hole so you can get a slant. And let me pull that up close and show you. Now the shock come out in the middle here in this hole. I'm going to put it in the hole at the back. So we're going to get better approach angle. So this little modification in them really helps the vehicle to perform better. You can do that all the way around, you know. So the two front one comes at the back hole and the back one will go in the front hole. All right, so that's it there. Let's do the other side. All right, so remember, comes out in the middle, we put it at the back. All right, so we have a slanting kind of move here. And the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change all 4 tires. I'm going to turn the tires around so I can get better traction on the rocks. All right, so now the shocks is in the middle. We're going to remove it and we're going to put it up front in this hole here. All right, that's one shock. So then the shock's gonna lean forward now. Okay, let's take care of the other side. Okay, that's it. See that leaning action right there? So now we're gonna change around the tires and turn them around so we can get better traction on the rocks. Now, you see how the tires facing the treads is going back that way? I'm gonna turn it so the treads go forward so it can grip better. So we gotta remove the hubcap and now we get access to the nut here. I'm gonna remove this nut. We're going to get the traction to go this way. So when you hit the rocks, you can pull like so. Okay, so let's get all 4 tires off. All right, guys, so what we're doing is basically putting the left on the right and the right on the left. So that way the tires will turn around. So those are the little upgrades that is do with the RCs. Push the shocks back, push it forward. Front shocks go backwards and back shocks go forward. So we get a little better approach angle when we're going up on the rocks or any obstacles. It's much better. All right, let's flip this over and take care of this last wheel. There we go. All right, this completed. So now let me just stick down this power button. So now we put in some Gorilla Glue at the back of the power button. Just like that, guys. So that's gonna hold pretty snug right there, and that's it. So there's a couple more things I like to do here. I would like to move the bumper all the way in, even closer. So I'm gonna push it up at the last hole. We're doing that with the front bumper and the back bumper. We're making adjustments. So just that way that the wheel could have lots of clearance on the approach angle so the bumper don't get in the way. Now the servo is blocking it a little bit. So I'm gonna take the bumper off and just snip a piece off. And that's very easy to do, guys. Get your scissors and just take piece off. That's it. Just take one of the holes off. Okay, so now we can put the bumper in there and it goes all the way. Okay, so we can line the screws back in there now. Okay, so we're up close on the last hole, so the bumper is closer so the wheel can get to approach obstacles better. So here at the back bumper, we're going to remove it and push it up inside too. So let's push it up inside. We're going to leave 2 holes out. So that's our measurement right there. That will get the bumper really close underneath the body. So we're going to run some time lapse and get the last screw back inside the bumper, and we're going to put back the battery strap, and we're going to show you some clips of the bumper, how it looks, show you different angles, and the front bumper pretty close so we have a better approach in the front. And guys, if you all like the video, give it a thumbs up, tell a friend, and I'll see you guys on the next one.